Welcome to my views and news. Muslims are celebrating Eid al-Adha in Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan today. While most religious gatherings of Eid prayer are peaceful, in one city of the Amhara region, shots have been fired. Tear gas fired as well. What happened there? We have a clip for you from this city, which is Kambolcha city. Kambolcha is in South Wollo, an industrial hub. A second story is about a key meeting on a Sunday. Orthodox Church Synod will hold a key meeting. Before this meeting, we are seeing some activities in the Oromia region of Ethiopia. Why is this upcoming meeting so crucial? Yesterday, church made the announcement about the date of the meeting. It will start on Sunday. What is on agenda? Thirdly, yours, Eritrean Information Minister Yemane Gebremaskel yesterday accused France indirectly of being hypocrite. He compared freedom of press, freedom of speech in France and Eritrea. He tweeted after someone shared a new story about Rumble's banning in France. Lastly, Sudan viewers, two news stories from Sudan. Houthi announced unilateral ceasefire on day before Eid and Eid day. Today is Eid day. Despite announcement of ceasefire, RSF fighters took control of a military base in Darfur. So it means basically no ceasefire. And lastly, Al-Burhan is asking all Sudanese youth to join the army. What does it indicate? Does it indicate that Sudanese army is under serious pressure? RSF is gradually sweeping across Sudan. Though sweeping is not right word, but gradually RSF are expanding the territories under their control. Firstly, viewers, today Eid al-Adha is being celebrated in several countries of the world. Muslims celebrate this religious festival. In Pakistan, India, it will be celebrated tomorrow. But in Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, Arab countries, Eid al-Adha is being celebrated today. Muslims on this day remember Prophet Ibrahim and his son. And on this day, we know that public gatherings are held. Muslims pray in public, in open places mostly, because Eid gatherings are huge gatherings. So these gatherings cannot be held in mosques. That is why mostly at town squares, on roads, such gatherings are held. In Ethiopia, Muslims offered Eid prayer this morning. Largely peaceful, big gatherings in Addis Ababa, in different parts of Oromia where Muslims live, in Amhara too, Somali, Afar. Wherever Muslims are, there were large gatherings, and all gatherings were peaceful. Just one incident so far, which we have been able to confirm, happened in Kambolcha city. Kambolcha is in South Wollo, industrial hub, and the city, small city, largely peaceful city. We have not seen any unrest, any Fanos activities too in Kambolcha lately. Don't know what happened, but today shots were fired during Muslim Eid prayer. Several videos are being shared. People can be seen scrambling to find shelters. Sounds of gunshots can be heard. Pictures are being shared. Tear gas smoke can be seen in the pictures. It means there was a problem, a security situation in Cambodia. Shots were fired. Then security forces tried to disperse the people. They fired tear gas. Tear gas, only security forces have tear gas. It means security forces were involved. Who started this conflict? It's not clear, so I wouldn't speculate. Only confirmation is that there was unrest in Cambodia today. Videos show Muslims being dispersed. They're trying to find shelters. So we'll try to update you. It would be unfair to just blame any party before having all the required information sources. So far, only confirmation is that there was unrest in Cambodia today. A clip for you from Cambodia. Everything was going peaceful, you can see. Suddenly, shots were fired. Several shots. Sounds of gunshots can be heard, but I have muted the sound here. Watch the clip from Cambodia. Secondly, viewers, Ethiopian Orthodox Church yesterday announced the start of a key meeting of the Synod in the next few days. The church made the announcement on Tuesday that on Sunday, 2nd of July, an Ethiopian calendar, 25th of June, Holy Synod will start its meeting. It's a very key meeting, viewers, because this meeting will determine the future of relations between Ethiopian Orthodox Church and Oromia region-based breakaway faction of the Orthodox Church, which made some appointments of 26 bishops a few months ago. The appointments were rejected by the church. 3 archbishops were stripped of their titles. Later, they were reinstated, but tensions remain. Almost all major dioceses in Oromia are not being administered by Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Rather, the breakaway faction is indirectly in control of these dioceses in Oromia. Now, what is the agenda? What will the Synod discuss on Sunday? Well, the agenda is clear. A few weeks ago, the Synod formed a committee comprising some archbishops. The committee was tasked with nominations for appointment of bishops to Oromia, mostly to Oromia. The committee has completed its work. Now the Synod will either approve or reject the nomination, the recommendations of this committee. That is why this meeting is crucial. Groups, Orthodox groups, some groups based in Oromia, they want appointment of bishops to be respected, which was made a few months ago by the breakaway factions, 3 archbishops, Abone Vostatius, Marcos, and the third, Abone Sarios. The church has not approved that appointment. Let's see what happens this time. Will the synod, what are the recommendations of the committee? What will synod do? These are important questions which will determine the future of relations between the two sides. Meanwhile, before this meeting, we are seeing pressure tactics being adopted by groups in Oromia. Yesterday, some Oromo Abagadas held a press conference and they said that appointment of bishops made a few months ago must be respected by the church. There shouldn't be no new appointments. Those bishops should be allowed to work in Oromia. Then we are seeing in Oromia that people are carrying out some activities. They are removing banners, removing posters with three colored patterns. They say that politics and religion are separate. Orthodox Church must not be politicized. That is why they are clearing the churches in Oromia of all these images, posters, banners. We have seen several pictures, some videos too. So overall, it's a test of the synod. Can synod somehow pacify the disgruntled Orthodox breakaway faction in Oromia? Can the church stay united? At this point of time, church is not united. The church is facing serious challenge from the two zones, the two regional states, Tigray and Oromia. Tigray is refusing to reconcile with the main church. It intends to establish a new synod. It wants to elect a new patriarch. Breakaway faction in Oromia, though it's part of the main church, but the dioceses in Oromia are not under the control of the church. That is why it's the test of church's leadership. Can Abune Matthias, the patriarch, keep the church united? Let's see. We'll try to update you on a Sunday about this key meeting. Thirdly, viewers, Eritrean Information Minister Yemane Gebremeskel is always on the lookout for any opportunity which he can find to criticize the West and US. And sometimes he compares West and Eritrea. He criticized France a few hours ago. He said, he criticized France in response to reports that France has suspended Rumble. Rumble has been suspended in France reportedly. Why? Because Rumble platform is being used by media content creators, and Rumble could not satisfy France regarding its censor policy, etc. Whatever the disagreements were, Rumble and France could not reach an understanding. So that is why France decided to suspend Rumble. Upon which the Eritrean Information Minister spoke, saying that West is hypocrite. They criticize other countries for crackdown on civil liberties, but in their own countries they are doing for which other countries are criticized. Well, there is no comparison between France and Eritrea. There is no comparison between freedom of expression, freedom of press in France and Eritrea. I think Eritrean Information Minister, Eritrean government, they should not compare. They know that there is no freedom of press in Eritrea. Just one newspaper, state-owned, one television station, state-owned, one radio station, state-owned. So basically, there is no independent press. There is no press, by the way, no news media in Eritrea. How can you compare? Yes, Western media freedom is not ideal. A lot needs to be done. We saw how West tried to block all Russian media after the start of Russia-Ukraine war. We saw that. There are issues. But can you compare what is happening in Eritrea and the situation in France, West? No, you cannot. Eritrean government should improve its situation when it comes to freedom of press. People have a right to know what is happening in Eritrea. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of press. All these basic rights are being denied. And problem is that Eritrean government defends what it is doing. Crime should not be defended. Rather, the government should try to improve its human rights record, which is not happening, by the way. Lastly, viewers, Sudan, where Al-Burhan is under immense pressure now, because yesterday he called upon Sudanese youth to join the military. He said revolution has been hijacked by Hamdan Dagalo. So it is time for youth to rise and to join the army. Oh, very clear that Burhan's military is under pressure. That is what I have been reporting. I have been saying that military was losing ground gradually in Khartoum, Bari Rahman. Almost on weekly basis, strategic military sites have been falling to rapid support forces. In Darfur, another story where entire towns coming under RSF control. Military, despite being greater in number, more equipped, air power could not stop RSF's expansion in Khartoum, Bari, mainly because RSF fighters are skilled when it comes to urban combat. And Sudanese military relied on air power in the first phase of this war. This air power has limited result, limited effectiveness in neighborhoods. That is why civilians died too in these airstrikes, and RSF fighters, they're holding on to their gain. They're expanding their territorial gains in Bari Khartoum. No. So it's clear that Burhan is under pressure. So he needs large-scale public mobilization. Will people join Sudan military to support Burhan's military against RSF? I don't think so. Because a revolution of Sudanese people against al-Bashir was hijacked by Sudanese military. Sudanese military back then did not give power to people. What happened in 2021? Al-Burhan was head of Sovereignty Council. For 2 years, he worked as head of Sovereignty Council. And then it was mandatory for Burhan to hand over Sovereignty Council's chairmanship to Abdullah Hamdok, civilian prime minister. He refused to do that. He tried to stage a coup. He put Abdullah Hamdok in prison. Back then, Hamdan Dagalo and Burhan were on the same page. They were part of Sovereignty Council. So both are not in support of a democratic Sudan. They want their military, their armed factions to be in control. That is why people are just watching. People are not joining Sudan's military or rapid support forces. Both of them are not sincere with Sudanese people's democratic wishes. RSF yesterday announced the enforcement of a unilateral ceasefire. It said it announced a 2-day ceasefire in respect of Eid al-Adha, which is being celebrated today. But RSF fighters took control of a base yesterday in Darfur. It happened in Manwashi. Manwashi is in South Darfur, where RSF fighters reportedly yesterday took control of 63rd Infantry Brigade military base. I have a clip for you. So, no ceasefire. These ceasefires are just for the consumption of international community. That the two sides are ready to dialogue, to be involved in dialogue. They want to talk, but other side is violating. Both accusing each other. Burhan also agreed to the ceasefire, but we're seeing fighting on the ground, though intensity decreased. And in Darfur, no ceasefire. Not a single ceasefire was implemented in Darfur. Implementation was partial or full only in Khartoum, Bari, Umdurman to some extent. A clip for you from Manwashi, South Darfur, where rapid support forces took control of Sudanese military's base there. Thanks for watching.